Okay, I guess this one is working. Okay. Well, I guess this one is working. Maybe. Let me just see here. Is it fine now? Oh, I always have troubles with live streaming because I always do things like these from time to time, and I don't test before going live stream, and it's always a crap. My bad. By the way, my bad. Let me just give you another light here. And yeah, I guess we can go live in that regard. And yeah, it was a bug. Definitely, it was a bug. I actually updated to the new Streamlabs version, and I did this several times. So, I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense because I did so many. Actually, all the live streams that I did was using the AMD codec, the hardware codec, and now that sorry, that the Streamlabs desktop software updated, I guess something broke or some crap. The GPU was at 99%. That makes no sense. To be honest, it makes no sense. In this case scenario, the GPU is now at 9%, the CPU at 18%. And this is where it should be using the hardware encoder. So something was really off. But yeah. So I guess we can start by watching the questions or that you guys make. And by the way, hello guys, Ancient Gameplays, I'm Fabio Pisco, and welcome to my channel. And I made this video especially because some of you guys were calling me AMD shill, but some of you also call me Nvme shill when I make Nvme content, and many other things, which to me makes no sense because I'm no such things. I'm just a guy that loves doing what it does. But yeah, no, I was using actually H.264 in the streaming, and it was still bugging, so I had to use X.264, which is actually the CPU. I never had to use the CPU, and it was always fine, even when playing. And now in the desktop, it was kind of breaking, which again makes absolutely no sense. Anyway, so let's see some of the questions that we have. OBS is better. Yes, OBS is better, but but in some case scenarios I need to configure more. That's why I use Streamlabs. But yeah, I'll be using OBS anytime soon if I do more live streams because I need to. This is just crap. I mean, the software doesn't even allow me to use AGVC or AV1 while OBS does, even when live streaming. So yeah. I got to, so Trend Z Motion says, I gotta be honest with you guys, I don't trust AMD graphics anymore, currently using the 7900 XTX. Now, why don't you guys trust AMD cards anymore? Because I honestly want to know, and again, I'm not defending, I'm just analyzing, and when most times I'm defending, you think I'm defending things, I'm just analyzing things. I'm looking at them like, I'm taking off all the emotion parts that you guys have, I'm taking off those, and I'm just analyzing things. But since I don't go all emotional like you see, like I don't go all bamboozling you and any other man alive, you guys think that I just don't care or that I'm doing something else. No, that's not the case. I'm just being myself. It's how I deal with things. I don't go all emotional here and there. I analyze things. But yeah, let me see. There's a lot of questions actually, so I need to see what we can get here. Hello guys. Yeah, Boxster78. Have you tested the API AV1 on Linux? I did some tests with the RX 7800 XT and it works great. Well, it usually works great here as well. That's why I don't know what's happening, actually. So let's see. Let me just see what we have here. VX08 says Ganda Fabio caralho, which basically means in English, it means awesome Fabio, son of a bitch, or something like that. But caralho, it means differently in Portuguese. I mean, I don't really know how to explain in English. It's a different thing. So, Jeffro77IFI says, because the software always has problems and not as user friendly as Nvidia. What are you talking about? AMD software is much more user friendly than the Nvidia one. That is easy to see, and if you ever had an AMD GPU, you know that the AMD software is way more user friendly. And Nvidia did the Nvidia app exactly because of that, because AMD software was more user friendly, like way more. As for the crashing and so on, yeah, that's more like a you problem, really. I'm not even joking. It's a well-known fact that that Nvidia doesn't need as much fine using as AMD. And AMD is kind of more, let's say, picky in most case scenarios. So you kind of need to know what you're doing with their drivers. Now, it's Anthony says, I think some people are being a bit dramatic over AMD. AMD thing, in my opinion. Yes, that's exactly what I think. People are being over dramatic, and sometimes I get annoyed and answer things that I shouldn't answer, because that's one of the things that annoys me the most. Over dramatic people. Just stop being over dramatic. Stop whining. It doesn't make anything. Just go analyze things and talk properly. Not from your heart, from your brains, from your head. Then we had lots of comments here. And now I have my cat, my dog here. Everyone's here. Everyone's in their mother here. Yeah, I'm Portuguese. AMD bad. They made the FMF 2.1 for RDNA2 and FG when Nvidia shat on their fanboys. Exactly. That's one of the things that I don't understand. People keep saying things like, well, I'm done with AMD. I'm going to Nvidia and this and that. Well, go on. But again, like I told you, just stop whining about it. If you want to buy an Nvidia card, buy it. If you want to buy an AMD card, buy it. If you want to buy an Intel card, buy it. But stop whining. Stop whining, really. It makes no sense. And of course, I am not in fault. Just buy whatever you want, and that's completely fine. But stop whining again. I mean, you can buy whatever you want. It's your money, not mine. Just do it. Now, saying this or that makes absolutely no sense. People are being over dramatic, really. Hello, guys. I'm sorry, by the way. I know I'm being a bit brute, but that's how I feel, really. That's how I feel. I don't understand why people keep complaining. Just buy whatever you want. You're completely free for that. Nvidia is the better of two evils. Yeah, they actually aren't the better of two evils. Definitely. I mean, people complain now about this, about the drivers, but from the beginning, I believe, or at least I would like to believe, or not I would like to believe, how should I say it? I like to believe, or I like to think that I believe that AMD made this not on purpose. But even if they did, and if you didn't have more driver support for RDNA2, or even if you entered maintenance mode with a driver, let's say every 2 months, every couple of months, what's the problem exactly? What's the problem? People say, well, but GTX 10,000 series or 10,000 series, GTX 1000 series, they have support for 10 years and blah, blah, blah. So what? What are you getting new exactly? So the problem of most of you guys, not most of you guys that watch the channel, but the problem of most people is that they have short memory. They say like, well, when Nvidia went to the RTX series instead of the GTX series, so what did the GTX 1080 Ti users got? Because the 1080 Ti was really, really fast. A really, really fast card by the time. And what did they get? Zero. They get. Sorry for my English. I'm kind of tired. I just came from the gym, but I wanted to do this live stream. What did they get? They basically, again, they got zero. They did not get the LSS. They did not get ray tracing. They did not get anything. And as soon as Nvidia went, for example, to the with frame generation, with the LSS3, with the RTX 4000 series, what did the previous generation users got? Zero. No frame generation for RTX 3000 and RTX 2000. And we had the 3090, which was a monster of a GPU, and still no frame generation. And when Nvidia went to the RTX 5000 series, the same, no multi-frame generation for the previous generations. And believe me, the same applies to smooth motion, for example. And believe me, RTX 3000 series could do the LSS frame generation because they have the optical flow accelerator. Nvidia just didn't care, and nobody complained. Well, you just have to upgrade to the newer generation. That's why double standards annoy me a lot, really, and that's why I get so pissed off. And sorry, I will read the comments right now. So, my only complaint against AMD, which I consider a betrayal, was that they blocked the RX 6600M driver, preventing fan control. Now, that's one of the things where I agree. That's one of the things definitely where I agree, like 1000%. AMD has more support usually than NVIDIA when it comes to features and so on. I mean, smooth motion only recently came to the RTX 4000 series that already had the LSS frame generation, while for the RX 6000 series, people are complaining, well, my RX 6000 series is dead because I don't have driver support. Just shut up. Really, just shut up, because that makes no sense. Even if you had no drivers whatsoever, your card would still play nice. It would be no problem generally. So, and on top of that, the RX 6000 series got FSR 3, FSR 3.1, they got frame generation, they got AFMF2, they got AFMF, AFMF2, and AFMF 2.1, and even the recent update for AFMF 2.1, the motion response something. So, while on the NVIDIA side, they got what they got, and that's it. That's it. So, I mean, guys, I really, I know I'm pissed off, sorry about that, but Jesus. Let me just do a bit of a zoom here. Fab, just dropping in to say, don't listen to some little nobody calling you a shill. They matter very little. Yeah, I hope so, at least. But I get tired. I get annoyed. my blood starts pumping like crazy. And by the way, guys, if you are thinking about that, well, Hardware Unbox just confirmed what you guys want to know. AMD has confirmed to us in writing that RDNA1/2 will still receive game optimizations at the same time as RDNA 3/4. So this could be this should put the issue to rest. And if this does end up being the case, they probably should have said that and cut the BS. Yeah, agree. So for example, what AMD said was, yes, game optimizations and support for all RDNA series 1 through 4 will roll out at the same time in both driver packages, including but not limited to COD, Crimson Desert, Resident Evil, and so on. But yeah, now, if we're talking seriously, I do believe that the maintenance mode was a driver every couple of months and not every single driver. On that, I believe that's the case. But again, yeah, complaining did help. Would it break the experience in most case scenarios? No, not really. In fact, if you use the drivers from 2 years ago, Cyberpunk 2077 actually runs better than the newer drivers. So that's just an example. Drivers don't make such a huge difference as you think they do, especially for older generation cards. In newer generation ones, in newer games, definitely. For older generation cards, not really. But yeah, let's go to the questions once more. So AMD needs to fire their entire marketing department. No shock here. Yep. The marketing department, I don't know if they are the ones that actually look at the release notes. Most likely not. But yeah, I believe that they need a PR guy to actually talk with people. If I was the PR guy, and I'm telling you guys, if I was the PR guy, I would definitely do many changes inside AMD. If they gave me kind of a white, how should I say in English? if they gave me the power to. But yeah, I would do some changes. Firstly, I would base myself on the community. So if I was working at AMD, I would say something like, well, okay, guys, we aren't working anymore on the Int 8 version of FSR4. We are not. But we can support the community. What about instead of doing this? So if the community wants this, why not just lose a bit of time here, just a little time, improve the Int 8 version a bit in order to get better performance. Not even talking about quality. Quality is fine for the older GPUs, but let's improve the quality, the performance a bit, and let's give it to the community, like officially. Even if it isn't as great, or even if the performance isn't as great as with the newer GPUs, just give it to them. And even if we release FSR Redstone, and if FSR Redstone works with all the other GPUs, well, let's still do it. Why not? One thing doesn't really make the other not happening. I mean, they could just give it in kind of an SDK or a DLL file instead of being in the drivers. Just give people an official DLL file, let's say that. Why not? I mean, I would do so many things there, definitely. Yeah, carte blanche, exactly. Exactly, carte blanche. So in the software field, maintenance mode means a package is feature complete and will only be updated for fixes and library support, not live support close to death. Yeah, and yeah, it's still not legacy. It's better than legacy, I would say. But yeah, I believe that they wanted to do something like that, which, to be honest, isn't such a big deal in my opinion. Again, in my opinion, you can just use drivers from 3 years ago, and like 90+% of games will have the same exact performance. So yeah, it all comes to features and so on, I guess. But since the older cards won't get new features, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, it's kind of controversial, but it is what it is. Now, do I believe that they shouldn't really support the cards for longer? No, of course I don't. I believe that they should support cards for way longer. Definitely. Since the prices of GPUs are getting higher and higher. That's why I believe if the GPUs were kind of way cheaper and people had money, no issues. But they are getting more and more expensive, so they need to support them a bit longer, I would say. They're gonna drop RDNA4 the second 5 releases. No, they won't. Again, stop being dumb. No, they won't. The same way they didn't stop supporting RDNA3. And I believe one of the most important things that people are kind of overlooking is that RDNA2 doesn't have AI cores. Again, I will give you the same example that happened with Nvidia. When Nvidia changed to the Tensor cores, GTX 10 series users got zero. Like we say in Portuguese, bola, zero. Because again, they didn't have Tensor Core, so no DLSS, no ray tracing, no nothing. And the same happens here. They can give you FSR Int 8, and most likely they will because of all this fuzz. But yeah, I mean, they are kind of separating things. So RDNA 3, RDNA 4, RDNA 5, they have AI cores, so the support is different from the GPUs that don't really have AI cores. I believe that's the case, but again, I might be wrong. Is it worth upgrading from the 5070 to the 9070 XT? Well, it is an upgrade, definitely. Now, is it worth really? Depends on the money that you're spending, I would say. Because you have 16 gigabytes VRAM and the card is definitely faster. Because the 5070 is generally slower, a bit slower than the 9070 non-XT, with the 9070 XT being faster. I have a comparison in my channel, by the way. If you want to see, I have some comparison there, I would say. It should be here, like, let me just show you. No, this is the 96XT one. So yeah, 9070 versus 5070, and this also includes the RX 7800 XT, for example. Guys, sorry, I don't really mean to be rude or something. It's just me. Sometimes I get mad as well. I'm also a human being, remember. So yeah, let's see where we get more. By the way, when I said I analyzed the quote without jumping to conclusions, I won't talking about you. I wasn't. I believe that's what you want to say. What do you want to say? Lost Soul 029. There are a lot of streamers who are quick to go over the top. Your response was one of the most measured. Yeah, I tend to look at things differently. That's one of my mottos. And again, sorry about my English because I'm really tired and I have a lot of things in my mind. So so sometimes I'm thinking in Portuguese, but then I'm kind of translating in half a second to English, and that's why sometimes I do some dumb mistakes. I only use AMD GPUs, but even I wouldn't upgrade the 5070 to a 9070 XT. Yeah, it's more kind of a side grade than an upgrade. By the way, if you want to look the overall results, you have them here, I guess. So these are for a mix of rasterization and ray tracing. So yeah, it's a small difference. For example, if we go to stock from stock, it's like going from an average of 136 to 148 FPS. And let me see, if we go maybe to 1440p, then it's going from 102 to 110. This is the normal one. But if we're talking about the 9070 XT, we go from 102 to 122. Yeah, not a huge difference, but it is there, and you have more VRAM and so on. So yeah, it all comes to what you need, to what you want or need. And someone is donating. Such a funny day. So thank you very much, by the way. So Frogboy X1 Gaming donates $5. Thank you very much, by the way. Why are we always left to pick up the Jesus Christ? Why are we always left to pick up the pieces after Nvidia bros trash AMD for clicks? It's already hard enough to be an AMD creator. Yeah, but of course I am not an AMD creator. I focus mostly on AMD because that's what people want to see. But if you go to my video section, it is easy to see that I have lots of NVIDIA videos as well. But yeah. So now we have June Jomanais donated 5 reais. And he says, in Portuguese for us, where are the 9500F? No chances coming to Brazil. And yeah, olá, by the way. Espero que esteja tudo bem com vocês aí no Brasil. Um grande abraço para todos. Going back to English, yeah, the 9500F, I mean, it's not really needed because the 9000 series CPUs are actually cheaper than the 7000 series were. And basically, if you are going to a non-X CPU, it will be much cheaper. So maybe the 9600 non-X is the way to go. But yeah, who knows? It would be nice to have more options on the AM5, definitely. Thanks for your efforts, bro. I'm looking at the laptop's monitor and it's really small, so I'm tired. It isn't helping. AMD cards have so much lag on VR with the RX 9070 XT at 90 Hz and 72 Hz. By the way, according to some users, they watched the video of the drivers that I released, the 25.10.2, and according to some VR users, they did say that VR is much better with the 25.10.2 drivers on the 7000 and 9000 series. So you might want to take a look at those drivers because they seem to fix those issues with 90 Hz refresh rates and so on in VR. So yeah. What's up, guys? So let's see more questions. By the way, guys, I know that you guys send things to Instagram, but I don't really use Instagram. I know it's there, but I don't really use it. Most likely, you're better just sending me text to X, for example, or just leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see it faster than Instagram, that's for sure. So yeah. You're using the webcam microphone. No, I'm using the Shure SM7B. I know it's zoomed in, so I'll just zoom out a bit for you guys to see. This is the Shure SM7B. The camera's microphone is much worse, I believe. Howdy. Will Redstone be on RDNA 3? Now let's talk about the RDNA 3 features. Well, I believe that yes. I believe that yes, it will be on RDNA 3, especially because since we are now branching out in between cards with and without AI cores, I believe that the new features will also come to RDNA 3. So most likely Redstone will be there with FSR4, improved FSR4, machine learning frame generation, radiance caching to help with path tracing and ray tracing performance. I believe that most of those features will be to RDNA 3, including, let's say, AFMF 3 as well. So yeah, at least I hope so. If Windows 11 is written by AI, why graphics drivers aren't? I don't really know, but Windows 11 is shit. I mean, it's shit in several things, not the performance itself. Could be much better, of course, but it's shit in so many things, so that's why. Most likely because of lazy developers, too much pressure on the developers, on the good ones, and maybe some AI coding. That's the bad thing. XeSS 1.3 is better on AMD versus FSR3, and they did it in half of the time. RDNA 2 can run FSR4, they don't want to DLSS on RTX 2000. Well, yes, XeSS is definitely better than FSR3 in terms of stability. Definitely. No doubts there. 1.3 and especially the 2 and 2.1 is much better. Now, did they do it in half the time? Not really. Because when XeSS came, it was already using machine learning. And that's why it was so much superior in most case scenarios. Not all, but in most case scenarios. And AMD did take too much time to do that machine learning transition, and they're paying it. They're paying it right now because they took too much time to make the transition to machine learning. So Sebastian actually asks, will the 6800 XT still be supported? It's still a good, yeah, it will still be supported. Even if it went in maintenance mode and all this crap wasn't here, it would still be supported, believe me. Not as many drivers as the newer generations, I guess, but yeah, it would still be supported. But at least now you'll have all the driver packages alongside RDNA 3 and RDNA 4 like AMD stated to hardware in box here again. Yes, game optimizations and support for all RDNA series 1 through 4 will roll out at the same time in both driver packages, including but not limited to COD, Crimson Desert, and Resident Evil. So yeah. I've had no issues at all with my 9070, and I bought it pretty much right after launch. Coming from a 3070, I do not miss any features. Exactly. I got the wrong microphone activated. I don't think so. I don't really think so. But yeah, you guys are right. You guys are right. Jesus Christ. Why this software is so shit? Default. Why default? I get... It should be working now, I guess. Maybe? Is the microphone working now, guys? Dude, this software is so shit. This software is really so shit. Let me know if the... Yeah, the Streamlabs desktop is so... Sorry about that, guys. As I always tell you, I don't really do live streams, so I thought I was using the Shure SM7B, and I was using that shit. Oh, my bad, sorry. Just make the gain up. Yeah, I guess I can do a bit more gain, I guess. Let me just see. Yeah, I don't really know why this happens, to be honest. Raise the volume. Let me just see. Privacy. Why am I going to my privacy settings? I can just raise the gain here. I wanted to raise the gain in terms of the software, but I mean, this software is so shitty, really. So shitty. I don't really know what's happening here. Why did it choose that? And when I go to these settings, let me just see the settings here. Okay. So it's 100 already. I can't go over that. Yeah. I need to increase. Yeah. It's working here, but I need to increase definitely on the focus, right? So I'm having 60 currently. I can increase to 70, I guess 70 dBs. It should be better, in theory at least. Let me see how it goes, I guess. Sorry about that, guys. It's always the same. It's always the same when I'm doing some live streaming. Oh god. Yeah, I'm tinkering. I did tinker on the focus right. Frogboy 1x Gaming, by the way, thank you for donating and see you soon as well. Thank you very much. Do we know why FSR 4 isn't supported in Vulkan API? Yeah, because AMD is being slow as hell. I believe that in the next drivers maybe it will come to Vulkan, since we now have with the 25.10.2 drivers, we have the Vulkan extensions for the FP8. So in theory it should be coming in the next drivers or in the ones after. But yeah, it's so slow. That's one of the things that annoyed me the most so far. Redstone, they said Redstone would be 25.2. We're still in 25.2 till December 31st, so that's fine. Now, what annoys the hell out of me is that definitely the Vulkan FSR 4 thing taking so long, especially with games like, let's say, Red Dead Redemption, Doom: The Dark Ages, Indiana Jones, and many other indie games. It makes no sense. Hey, Joanne. I want to move to Linux. What is a good distribution that's good for gaming and easy to use? By the way, if you're looking for a Linux, watch my video here, Windows versus Linux. I test 3 distributions, which are CachyOS, Bazzite, and Nobara. I believe that Nobara is the easier one to use, CachyOS is the fastest one, and Bazzite is also easier to use, I would say, easy to use. Fabio, can you please talk about the rise of development of Linux in gaming? Yeah, definitely. Valve is always the one moving things forward in the market, usually. They did the same with the handheld devices, with SteamOS, and that's why Linux is getting more and more users. And believe me, when SteamOS comes to desktop, it will get even more users. Now, that's a given. Should I use the X12 or Vulkan with the 9070 XT? Well, depends on the game. Some games run better with Vulkan because they're more optimized for Vulkan. Some do run better with the X12. It depends, actually. If we're talking about the X11 in Vulkan, it also depends, because Vulkan is much better, but sometimes they optimize the X11 much more than Vulkan, so the X11 is still the best option. For example, one of the games that I remember is Dota 2. Vulkan should be much better in theory, but actually it isn't. So, I believe Infirms 1337 says, I put away my RX 6800 XT, now using an RTX 3070 as a temporary solution. 6800 XT is a very good card, still I don't panic because of driver situation, but I tend to lack some updates. Features encoder, yeah, if we're talking about that same situation of the encoders, yes, definitely. In terms of features, I tend to disagree, because the 3000 series don't really have frame generation or anything like that. With the 6000 series you get, but yeah, in terms of upscaling, it's much better. You have ray reconstruction, which is also nice. So yeah, some features are better, definitely. PicoOS is also great, definitely. There's a lot of questions, I'm trying to answer each single one of those, but I can't. I really can't. I'm trying, but I can't. It's humanly impossible. Do you know when more updates will be released for the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT?
Will both old and new games work on the Radeon 7900? Why shouldn't they work? What's the issue there? I mean, RX 5000, 6000, 7000 and 9000 series will keep getting drivers normally. And even if the older didn't have drivers normally, the RX 7000 series would still have drivers normally as usual. It makes no sense. I mean, those cards were released 3 years ago, so of course that can't really happen. I need to watch this one. Why are they so chill about AMD not letting FSR4 for RDNA 3 and 2 when community has proved it can run because of OptiScaler, but you will crash out over NVDFG when there is LFG? AMG just couldn't hide. I mean, this question makes no sense. Why am I so chill? I'm not chill. I just don't care. Those are companies. Again, stop with the emotional side. Use your brains. Use your brains. If you're not happy about the company, just don't buy their products. But AMD not letting FSR4 on RDNA 3 and 2. Well, RDNA 3 uses now the Int 8 version. RDNA 3 doesn't support FP8. And the only official version of FSR4 is the FP8, floating point 8. Now, the RX 7000 series and the RX 6000 series don't have FP8. They do have Int 8, integer 8, which is what the modded FSR4 is using. Okay, now they can actually emulate FP8 with FP16 like they do on Linux, and maybe that's what they're gonna do later, I don't really know. But the Int 8 version that you're using, although it's great, it's not official. It's not official, so on the other hand, I do believe that they will bring FSR4 for RDNA 3. They most likely won't do it for RDNA 2. But again, if the rumors are true, FSR Redstone seems to be kind of agnostic in terms of software, in terms of hardware, sorry, so it should in theory work for the RDNA 2 cards. I mean, there are so many things that AMD is not talking about that we don't really know anything. It could be anything. FSR Redstone could actually allow RDNA cards, RDNA1 and 2 cards to use it, even if the performance is bad. We don't really know anything, so it's really hard to answer. So yeah, now let's see the donation. I don't see any donation from electricity something. Let me just see. Can you check my donation? Oh, I don't see any donation there. I see one donation from 10 Ron. I don't really know what it is, but thank you very much. From Svart of the E2492. A shill, I thought you were Portuguese. Good one, yes. Exactly, I'm Portuguese, yeah. Keep on with the hard work, thank you very much. Hello guys, by the way, question. On AMD Ryzen Master, I try auto overclock on my 9700X, expo off OTF memory clock, 4800, 6000 megatransfers per second. I click change expo mode, hit apply and restart, and PC won't post or reboot. Now, if your PC won't post or reboot after you do the expo, it's simple. It isn't really supported or something is going on, the needed voltages aren't being applied. When you're using higher memory frequencies, you need both higher SOC voltage, SoC voltage. You need it to be higher, which controls the input and output with the RAM and so on. You need it to be higher, and you need the RAM voltage to be higher as well. Usually it goes like 135 to 139 or 140, depending on the RAM kit. On the RAM side, and on the SoC it goes usually around 1.2 if you want 6000 MTS. But what I advise you is simple: just stop messing around with Ryzen Master and go to BIOS. It's always the better thing to do, believe me. Hello man, in the same price, is the 9070 better than the 5070? Yes, Definitely. At the same price, especially at the same price, definitely. It is faster in rasterization, very close or faster in ray tracing as well, and it has 4 gigabytes of VRAM more. So overall, yeah, at the same price, definitely. Ancient gameplays are donated through Streamlabs in description. Oh? Why doesn't it show here? Oh, it shows now. Great. Yeah, I don't really know how Streamlabs works, really. So 12 minutes ago, Electric Johnny says, I'll say what I think, but after such decisions by AMD, I have little trust in them and am starting to think about switching from the RX 9070 XT to the RTX 5070 Super, 5070 Ti Super. And in my opinion, AMD needs to invest more in software and a new marketing. Well, again, you can switch. Definitely you can switch, but I mean, you won't really gain anything. Believe me, you won't really gain anything because the 5070 Ti is more or less on par with the 9070 XT in terms of performance, but sometimes it gets more stutter, especially in Unreal Engine 5 games. The 9070 XT is an exceptional card and it will get more features. Now, will it get only 5 or 6 years of support? I guess not. I guess not, especially now that AMD just took it in the rear because of the community. Everyone pushed them around, which is a great thing. So they kind of stepped back and they understood that they need to support the cards for a longer time, for a longer period of time. And at the same time, since RDNA1 is the first one with real AI cores, not just a matrix computational whatever, real kind of tensor cores, it will get supported way more. The reason why RTX 2000 series users are still getting DLSS 4, but again, they are not getting frame generation because RTX 2000 series don't have the optical flow accelerator, but they are getting DLSS 4 upscaler because they already had tensor cores. It was the first generation to have tensor cores. So I believe again that yes, RDNA 4 will have support for a long time. Now, Paulo Sena asks, Ancient Gameplays, do you know why in some games AMD frame generation doesn't work despite being enabled? Indiana Jones and The Last of Us Part 2, it doesn't work. I'm using a 6900 XT. Well, in The Last of Us 2 it works. It works. It didn't work before, but it now works. They kind of fixed it, I believe. As for Indiana Jones, I don't know. But I do know that in some case scenarios, FSR frame generation is not well implemented. And yeah, it sucks because it's not well implemented. So you activate frame generation, but it doesn't feel really like you're getting better smoothness because the frame generation pacing is completely messed up. Things are crazy. What you can do in those games is you can just go and enable the frame generation through OptiScaler because you can now use FSR frame generation or XeSS frame generation as well. Okay, so even without using the one inside the game, you can use it and it will most likely work better if the in-game implementation isn't working. Let me just see. So, Da Easy says, Int 8 isn't official because AMD doesn't want to, because they want to sell RX 9000 series. You always talk about AMD in terms of they are trying. You never say it is done on purpose like Nvidia did with FG. No, I'm not. No, I don't. How do I say they're trying? I'm not going emotional. It's facts. It's facts. It is what it is. I mean, they're trying. I never said they're trying. I said that they said they were trying. That's what they said. I'm just passing the message to you. In terms of RDNA 3, they said that they were trying to see if it would be working on RDNA 3 or not. The FSR FP8. FSR 4 FP8. So, yeah, I never said they were trying or something. I believe that the Int 8 version was an older version that they had, and then they switched to FP8 because it was much faster. Even though Int 8 can be optimized, but I guess they worked better with FP8. But I do believe that the Int 8 version will come, especially because of APUs. Not APUs, but yeah, APUs, but because of the NPUs inside APUs. NPUs can run Int 8. And if they can run Int 8, it means that, for example, if you have integrated graphics with an NPU, or just a CPU with an NPU. Let's say that the Ryzen 10,000 series, they come with an NPU inside. You could, in theory, use the NPU, the neural processing unit, to run FSR and get much better performance. So run FSR with the NPU, and the GPU would be just sleeping while the NPU was doing the upscaler. That's just one thing, and that's why I believe that something closer to an Int 8 version will come, especially for the APUs, like things handhelds and things like Steam Deck, APUs and so on. I believe it will come. Now, when? I don't really know. Again, I don't work for AMD. Now we have a donation. Oh, my bad. Where's the donation? Now we have a donation from M3M Hyper 59 PLN. I don't really know what's that, but thank you very much. Independently of the value, thank you very much. Started building PCs because of your videos. Now it pays my rent. Well, that's crazy. I'm really happy for you, man. Really, you started learning here and then it pays your rent. Man, I'm really, really happy for you. Fabio who? Fabio Legend. Question, is RDNA 3 even worthwhile considering pricing is similar and RDNA 4 as FSR 4, especially the 9060 XT 16GB versus the 7600 XT? No. I would say that the only cards that should be considered, and because of the price, are maybe the 7800 XT and the 7900 XT if they are priced correctly. But since we now can get 9070 XTs and 9070 non-XTs at MSRP right now, yeah, the 9070 XT is really, really close to the XTX in terms of performance and consumes less power, so I would say that it makes no sense to go with those cards. If you can, just get the 9000 series and you are guaranteed to have features, new features, and many more things for many more years. So yeah. Now, again, unless buying second hand or really, really cheap, no, go 9000 series with a 9070 filling in the mid-tier, I would say. So let's see. A company will always move forward, definitely. That's how companies work. Let's see more. Oh, 12, 15 euros. Thank you very much. Even better. Now, Snurpen says, Fabio helps AMD not because he's a shill, but because he is better at selling their product than the awful AMD marketing team. One thing I can guarantee you, I would at least be more down to earth, and believe me, if I was there, you guys would like me more, because I would definitely listen to the community, definitely, but yeah. And yes, RDNA is still good, just depending on the price. RDNA 3. Okay, what do we have more? Yes, frame generation works in The Last of Us 2, but it doesn't make any difference in the smoothness of the image. Well, it makes to me. To me it works. That's why I'm telling you. At least I played a couple of months ago and frame generation was working and the smoothness was increased. But I do know that in the first patch it wasn't working properly. And the same happened to The Last of Us Part 1. FSR frame generation was also broken there and then they fixed it later. Why does everything on YouTube always have to be so sensationalized? Jesus Christ, I'm so tired today. AMD has once again shot itself in the foot. Yes, like I said in my previous video, this one saying we're back. Yeah, I did say several times that AMD needs to be careful in what they say, with what they say, because everyone will get emotional so fast, like they'll snap like this. So they need to be very careful. Been trying to decide between the 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT. Now, I'm gonna be honest. The 5070 non-XT, the 5070 Ti, if, and I repeat, if at the same price as the 9070 XT, right now, it is a better buy. It is a better buy. So, the 9070 XT is generally a bit faster and maybe better in terms of Unreal Engine 5 games, kind of smoother. But both cards have 16GB VRAM. The 5070 Ti has multi-frame generation, has frame generation implementation in more games, has the DLSS4 that is still better than FSR4, even though they are very close, the DLSS4 is still better, and at the same time they have more games with support for day one features like frame reconstruction and so on, so they're ahead. So if you can get a 5070 Ti at the same price as the 9070 XT, the 5070 Ti is a better choice, definitely. You saying that makes me emotional. You guys are funny. Let's see how much time I've been doing this. 51 minutes. Yeah, we're fine. Here the 5070 Ti is 200 euros more, so the 9070 XT was an easy pick, definitely. 200 euros, even 100 euros would make me think. So 200 euros, just 9070 XT. Proc hot, don't really know what that is. FSR4 is more balanced than the LSS, and the 9070 XT has FG in any game with AFMF. Yeah, but remember that Nvidia also has smooth motion, so they also have frame generation in any game. And we have lossless scaling and so on. More. Hi Fabio, says Cara Danny. Hi Fabio, thanks for calling AMD driver issues out. Maybe that helped as well to push them to finally fix the 7 series VR issues after a year. I'm happy now. Glad to hear that again. Yeah, they're fixed. And yeah, I pushed that so many times in the driver reviews. I said AMD needs to fix VR. It is a niche market, but more and more people are using it right now. So if AMD needs, or if AMD wants to get in that market, they need to fix those issues. And gladly, they're fixed now, it seems. At least for now. But yeah, I'm really happy to hear that. Fabio, do you think AMD will quietly add FSR4 based on Int 8 to RDNA1/2 at some point after Redstone is released? I mean, they could do that. They could do that. And if I was AMD, I mean, they already have the code compiled and people like it, so why not? They wouldn't lose anything. They would just win. But as usual, it is AMD and shareholders do say a lot, so who knows. Okay, don't you think there is a real chance AMD is delaying Int 8 official implementation to sell RX 9000 like Nvidia did with FG? If it were implemented as working right now, wouldn't everyone be happy? Yeah, but again, I don't really know if they are going that route. It seems to me that AMD is doing something different from Int 8, and they will keep Int 8 kind of as a separated version. I kind of get that feeling. I don't really know if that's the case, but I get that feeling. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't think RDNA2 and older have Int 8 or Int 4. Yeah, they do. RDNA2 has Int 8 and they can run Int 8. That's why they can run XeSS as well. It uses Int 8. It's DP4A, but it uses Int 8. And if you do the mod, the FSR4 mod, they can run it on RDNA2 cards. So let's see where we get more. 16SV says, I was also thinking between the 5070 Ti and the 9070 XT. Got the AMD, a couple of things could be better, but that's not a bad card coming from an Nvidia users. Yes, the 9000 series were actually a very good improvement over the 7000 series. The 7000 series were kind of an experience with a multi-chip module design, and I believe that RDNA5 or UDNA, whatever it's called, it will be the real thing that RDNA3 should have been. FP8 is just much better option for the whole Redstone project, definitely. That's why I think Int 8 will be a different thing. I always prefer Nvidia because AMD cards resales is very bad in almost every country. Well, that kind of changes with time. That usually is true because AMD is always behind in terms of features, but if they actually are able to catch up now, and if they start changing the things, if they change the game, let's say that, things will change definitely, and yeah, the resale value will be higher. So Ellie KKLI says, "Hi Fabio, I have the 6800 XT from ASRock. It is a beast, so not getting FSR 4 now. I take kind of neutral, but I want to squeeze as much as possible from it. Yeah, from it. It would be nice to get FSR 4 in the future. Well, you can get FSR 4 now with the mod, but yeah, I meant that you want it officially. RX 7000 was basically the same as the RX 6000, RT was still subpar, upscaling was still shit, power consumption was equal or worse, only FSR 4 can save it. Well, the 7000 series were actually the same price at the beginning, but as soon as the prices went down, the 7000 series were actually very, very good, especially because they had way more VRAM compared to the counterparts of Nvidia, like the 7900 XT, and with lower prices and more VRAM and so on, they still sold quite well. But yeah, definitely, if at the same price, the Nvidia cards were much better, especially in terms of power consumption. RDNA1 was a massive uplift in many regards. So latest driver for my 9070 XT won't start from context menu for some reason, undervolted slightly but nothing too extreme. Any ideas? Yeah, did you those drivers immediately and update chipset drivers? Well, AMD is pretty much caught up. Nvidia has been promising this VRAM compression for like 2 generations and still not a thing. And by the way, AMD also has that VRAM compression. They just released it on GPU Open a couple of months ago, I believe. Let me just see what we have here. So the plugins and so on. I saw something like that. The memory compression. Well, maybe not here, but I did see it. Hybrid shadows, stochastic reflections, SDKs. Yeah, the thing is that AMD has been slower in many regards, and if they actually improve on that same specific regard, things will get much better. Things will get much better for them. They need to kind of step up, I would say. Neural texture block compression, yes, maybe that. 9070 XT price here in Brazil is getting better and better. I hope during Black Friday I can buy mine. I really hope so. If you want to buy one, I really hope so. Always hoping for the best for people, not for the worst. That's my motto. I just want people to be nice, to have happy lives. And that's one of the reasons why I get so mad when people are always whining online saying blah blah blah, my GPU is dead, my GPU. Guys, look at the bright side of things. I can be frustrated. I get frustrated a lot of times, and I swear a lot of times. But yeah, as soon as I kind of start breathing slowly, I understand, okay, this won't really help me, so let's see what I can do to make things better. And that's what I want for everyone. Just stop whining, make your lives better. Osama3489 says, I just want to say you are the GOAT, maybe GOAT, and most people in Saudi Arabia have turned to AMD in large numbers because of you. We love you. Well, thank you very much for people in the Saudi Arabia. How is GDDR6 faster than GDDR7? It isn't, but GDDR7 I believe has a bit higher latency. Maybe that's it. It has to do with tweaking. GDDR7 will get much better with time, like GDDR6 got. What are your opinions on the leaks of AMD Zen 6 Medusa? What are your thoughts? To be honest, they're leaks. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they aren't. Sometimes things go correctly, sometimes they don't. So they're just that, leaks. I like to talk about things that already happened. Most times, at least. Do you think they will tell us about FSR Redstone on Financial Analyst Day, November 11? We have had almost no news about FSR Redstone. Maybe. They said 25/2, so maybe. That's a thing. Well, my bad. Let me just go to the other comments. Let's see what we get more. Do I go with AMD or Nvidia? You do you, man. You just do you. If you like Nvidia more, go Nvidia. If you like AMD more, go AMD. If for the same performance AMD gives you better performance, for the same performance AMD gives you better price, just go AMD. If you really want something from Nvidia, just go Nvidia. It's all up to you. Okay, let me just see more. Damn, I knew RAM prices were up, but the kit I bought for $110 is now $240. What? That's just crazy. That can't be real. Holy shit. Holy shit. The prices are really crazy. Damn. I mean, kits like these would be like 120 euros. 120, 110 euros. And now it's like 160. Damn. 160. For a CL38 RAM. I believe it's CL38. I can't even see. That's crazy. And this one, CL30, 246 euros. It's like, what? This is like the same price when DDR5 came out. This makes no sense. So DDR5 came out, the supply was really short, and we had those prices, and now we have the same prices as when DDR5 came out. This is just crazy. It's better to just shoot your brains. It's just insane. What the hell is happening here? And look at this. It still shows 159. But as soon as you open it, it gets updated, and then we have 246 euros. That's crazy. My goodness. 181. Yeah, this one doesn't get updated. My goodness. CL30, 177. 177. Damn. Thanks Nvidia with your AI stuff. I paid 116 euros in June for a kit that now costs 229 euros. That's just crazy. That is just crazy. Let me just... Well, still 180 set viewers. 180 set. Set means 7. So, again, English mixed with Portuguese. 187 viewers after 1 hour and at this time of the day. Not that bad, especially talking about this dumb topic. Basically, we're talking about nothing. We're just talking. Ancient Gameplays, I see you have Cinema 4D and Blender. Is AMD an okay brand to go towards? Because it seems that Nvidia always dominate in productive image marks. Well, not always. When it comes, for example, for Photoshop, for Premiere, AMD is actually a very good choice. As for Blender, usually, now AMD is getting better. AMD is definitely getting better with Blender. The 9000 series finally got some support and they're getting better. But yeah, Nvidia is usually considerably faster with CUDA, at least in the same price bracket in Blender. But then if you go to other things, they are quite on par. It kind of depends, I would say. All stores are inflating prices before Black Friday. SSD prices are also rising. Yeah, Black Friday this, Black Friday that. Annoying. Polakstan. Oh, and we have another donation. Now it's $5 Australian. Thank you for having a balanced take and not being negative. It's rare and I can't watch certain channels any longer due to constant negativity. Yes, yes, exactly that. Every time I make a video, I try to be like positive about the thing. So I still talk about the negative things, but when I talk about them, I don't try to put things down. Like, I'm not talking like this. This is bad. This should not happen. You guys are all messed up. The world is flat. Everything is wrong in my life. It makes no sense for me to announce that way. I mean, I say that things are bad. They are not working well as they should, but that's it. Let's move to the positive side of things. If there isn't any positive side of things, let's just analyze how things could be better. Thank you very much for the donation. Berserkism. Napo Official 7123 says, greetings Fabio, who love from Buenos Aires. Much love from Portugal too. Shit, I have the Ryzen 7 5700 XT paired with the Radeon RX 7700 XT, and on a B450 MSI Gaming Plus Max, and it's still working great and playing games. Of course it is working great and playing games. Yeah. Ancient Gameplays, what are you expecting from the RTX 6000 series marketing feature like they promote MFG on the RTX 5000 series? Am I expecting better performance for RT? No. Maybe. Well, maybe. The RTX. Yeah, the RTX 6000 series. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if they didn't really improve anything significant with the 5000 series, they have to do it with the 6000 series. Otherwise, it would be like kind of flop over flop. And they were able to pull this out with the RDNA1 architecture since they are focusing on the mid tier. But as soon as AMD focus on the top tier with RDNA5/UDNA, yeah, Nvidia will have to up their game as well. Jvidia says, Olá Fábio, do you have any idea the 9700X, 9800X 3D is no more sold and shipped by all the European Amazon stores? Well, I can see that. Well, it's here. Amazon Spain. Here it is, 297 euros. And here it is, the 9800X 3D. So it is being sold, at least in the Amazon Spain. Yeah, MI60, and you also have the MI100. I'm actually doing all that video about the history of AMD and so on. It will be finished in a couple of days. I'm still editing because it will be a big documentary, so yeah. It's Opera better than Brave, Fabio? Well, Brave has many things that Opera doesn't, and Opera has also some things that I like more. So, for example, one of the things that I like about Opera now, it didn't have before, now it has kind of one thing called Lucid Mode, and I really enjoy it. So, as soon as you go on a video, you have this, which is the Lucid Mode, and it kind of sharpens and upscales your video automatically. So I really like it a lot, and that's one of the reasons why I use Opera. The second reason is this. So it has the automatic speed dial, one of the things that I use the most, and I really, really like the speed dial of Opera, and that's why I've been using Opera for many, many years. But yeah, definitely. So let me just grab some water and take off my jacket. It's getting hot here. Hot. Okay, just a second. I'm back, boys. Yeah, I'm actually drinking this one. I don't really have water here. Yeah, well, I have tap water, but we are lucky enough to not have to drink tap water here. We have a fountain like really close to my house, and we use that water, which is very, very good quality water, and of course it's free. So I need to go and grab some water tomorrow morning, but yeah, not now. The camera no focus on the spotlight. Yeah, I mean, this camera is quite nice. The camera can follow me, by the way. If I do this, you see, the camera will follow me. By the way, this is the OBSBot Tiny 2 Lite. I have an ad for that, and the camera follows me. It can actually kind of, as you can see, it follows me. It can zoom in, zoom out, again, zoom in, zoom out, and it will still follow me to the chair. It's quite nice, to be honest. Fabio drinks from a well with a ladle. Okay. So when does AMD plan to market its graphics cards outside of the region like Nvidia? Sincerely, I don't know. The fountain of youth. Who the hell uses Edge? Well, I always have several browsers here, so yeah. Opera is Chromium, yes, I know it's Chromium. I just like the default features. Let's say that. I use Opera because I like the default features. The camera is, I will write the name of the camera here. It's the OBSBot Tiny 2 Lite. Now the camera is running at 1080p, but it can run 4K 30. It's running 1080p, but 4K is obviously much better. Yeah, Nino is always here. Always. Nino. The guy. If you want to see the dog, Nino is here. And now I actually have another dog. But it is still, well, the dog isn't small. The dog isn't small, it is actually big, but it is only 2.5 months. So it just wants to kid around and fool everyone, just mess around everything. So it has to be there on the other side in order to not mess with Nino. Oh, yeah, I'm being followed now. To become a model. I'm not pretty enough. So let's see how many people there. Still almost 200 viewers. That's nice. And yes, the camera is pretty insane. I mean, when I learned about OBSBot and they wanted to sponsor one of my videos, because This is one sponsor of the Tiny 2 Lite, but I will have another sponsor soon of the Meet 2 SE. No, the Meet 2, the normal Meet 2, and Osbot cameras are insane. I mean, this is really low light here. I just have 2 lights here, and even if I just go and take the lights down, the camera quality will still be very, very good, which is actually insane for the price they cost. I never thought webcams could be as good as they are, at least on the price bracket. I believe this one is like 120 euros. I mean, it's expensive, but for 120 euros, great quality. So an R7 9800X 3D, overkill for an RX 9060 XT, of course it is. The resolution doesn't really matter. The combo is too unbalanced. I mean, it makes no harm to have a better CPU, you just don't really need it. Unless you're playing things like Valorant at super low settings, something like that, but usually it isn't really needed. And for streaming you just use the codec of your 9060 XT, which is great. I guess this last question is out of your area of expertise, but what about local LLMs between Nvidia and AMD? Which one is better? I really don't know. I have run some LLMs, some local LLMs before, but really basic LLMs, I'm not much into that, so I don't really know. I won't really say which one is better because I don't know. I would be lying if I was saying something about that. Oh, Toby eye tracking. Good times. Do you think AMD will update VSR to ML model like Nvidia did with the LDSR? Honestly, I don't really know. AMD tends to kind of forget about those features. Streaming actually uses CPU. Yeah, it uses CPU a bit. But if you use the encode of the AMD side or the Nvidia side, the encoder inside the GPU, the CPU usage will be very low. Hi Fabio, could you recommend me a budget PSU for a mid-range gamer PC? Mine explode. Mine explode. I have an i3 and the 9060 XT. Well, that i3 might be bottlenecking, but we'll get there. Anyway, as for PSU, I know a bit of Spanish, yes. As for PSU, maybe something like 650 watts. Bronze will be more than enough, especially if you don't really want to spend much money. Yeah, no. Some PSUs from Aerocool are actually quite decent. They're not the best, but they're quite decent for the price. Let me see what we have here. Something like this Gigabyte one. Yeah, but for example, maybe this one, the Tough Gaming, 650 watts bronze. I believe it's more than enough. But again, this is if you are really short on money, because PSUs are one of those things that you don't cheap out. You never cheap out on a PSU. Okay, just get a very good PSU. In my opinion, if you can, just get a very good PSU and call it a day for the next 10 years. If you just get a very good PSU, you're set for 10 years. I have a PSU here, still working, and it has like 12 years or 13 years, and it's still working well, because it was a 750 watts gold one. Nino is actually looking from the window there. But yeah, so never cheap out if you can. But if you can't really spend more money, yeah, I believe these ones would be enough. Like these ones from Asus, MSI, 50, 60 euros, something like that, yeah. One of my main contenders are these ones, the 700, the RM 700X, something like this. So if you can spend the money, it's this. Like these modular low noise PSUs, that's what I use generally. 750, 850, This is the main one that I'm using, 751, RM750X, I believe. I also have another one, by the way, so let me just show you. I have this one that that ASRock sent in order to make kind of a YouTube shorts. They sent a motherboard and they sent this one, which is the Steel Legend, because ASRock now has power supplies as well, which is the Steel Legend Gold 1000 watts modular. And yeah, it's kind of crazy, as you can see. So we have lots of rails, we have, yeah, it's 1000 watts. It's unnecessary. I would say it's definitely unnecessary for like 90% of people, or even more than that. But yeah, I have one 1000 watts, another one 1200 watts, 1200 watts, and now this one 1000 watts. But because they sent me the main computer that I use where I test the GPUs, even the 400 watts ones, only has 750 watts, but it's a very good 750 watts PSU. So yeah. And by the way, this is the PSU, but they also sent me an Intel motherboard. It seems that we will be having Core Ultra benchmarks here soon, at least included on the Ryzen 1. So yeah, the motherboard isn't bad as well. It's this one, the Z890 Steel Legend Wi-Fi. Yeah, it seems quite nice. It will actually replace my 12600K system. So it will be something like the Core Ultra 7 265K, something like that. It will replace the 12600K system that I have there. But yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine in my opinion. Let me just put it back in place and I'll answer some more comments before finishing the live stream. The RM750 Gold Plus, it's basically the one that I have, so keep it. It's a great PSU, especially in terms of PSU filters and so on. It's a great PSU. More. Okay, should I upgrade from 6900 XT to the 9070 XT or the 5070 Ti? Again, it's your choice. Now, if you want to go with the 9070 XT, I don't really have the 5070 Ti. I asked Nvidia if they could send one, and sadly, since I now have a new house, and yeah, I know that you guys don't really know, but I'm gonna be a father. It's the first time that I say it on video. It doesn't really matter to my viewers, but yeah, I don't really want to be spending money that way because I'll need it for other things. And yeah, I asked them to send the 5070 Ti, and they said they didn't have samples. But if you are going to the 9070 XT, and if you want to see, I believe that you want to see what? It was the, yeah, from the 6900 XT. I believe that I have benchmarks with the 6950 XT. Yeah, it is here. So 6950 XT versus 9070. It's actually a she, not a he. But yeah. So if you want to see again results with the 6950 XT, and the 6950 XT is faster than your 6900 XT, even the 9070 is considerably better. For example, in Black Myth Wukong, if we go to higher resolutions, or we can go to the averages immediately. So let's see the averages. If you're looking at the averages, so at 1080p, look at the 6950 XT here, 100%, and the 9070 non-XT, the normal 9070, is up to 16% faster while consuming much lower power. Then we go to 1440p. You would think that it would be slower, but no, it's around the same. It's around the same. It can be up to 18% faster. And again, way less power draw. So the 9070 XT will be around 20-25% faster, 25-30 in some case scenarios, while being much better at ray tracing and having FSR4 and consuming less power. Gabriel says, boa noite Fábio, abraço dos seus fãs do Brasil, já pensou em gravar vídeos em português? Yeah, I thought of recording some videos in Portuguese, but I don't really have the time right now. Maybe in the future, if things go really, really well and I have an editor for all my videos, maybe I can think of recording some videos in Portuguese as well. So the editors will edit the videos and I'll just do my thing. Tiny baby Fabio, will she have RT cores implemented? Tensor cores immediately. Girl. Nah. I like to spoil when they deserve it. I don't like little brats. Thank you very much for the congrats, guys. How are the XPG core reactor PSUs? Well, it depends usually on the models, but I didn't really test those ones. The PSUs that I have right now are working all perfectly, so no issues whatsoever. So Berserk, now I can see. but yeah, oh, it's the same guy that donated before. 20 Australian dollars. Thank you very much, guy. I mean, guys, you are just amazing. You guys donate money, your hard work money. You guys donate it, and I appreciate it very much. Not because of the money itself. The money also helps, of course, but not because of the money, but because of the attitude. Thank you very much. Watching, sharing, doing all that you do, guys. It's very, very important, and I thank you very much. Grats, man. Being a father is amazing. Nothing is as validating. Yeah, I actually like animals, children, and so on. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I don't know if it will be the last, but yeah, it's the first. I'm not married, but I would say I'm almost married, definitely. Well, for 10-15 FPS, I can live without spending that much money, definitely. With a kid on the way, you also need the money. Yes. Yeah, kids are expensive, but yeah. They are also one of the best things in the world. Thanks for keeping your feet to the ground. Keep it up. Thank you very much for the kind words. FG. Now, guys, do you have any more questions? What do you want to know exactly? Just let me know, because it's like 1.5 hours and my wife is kind of sleeping, so yeah. Give me the final questions. And if you want to donate, the time is now. The time is now. So yeah, if you want to donate, do it. If you don't, that's fine. Watching, sharing, and enjoying the content is already great. But yeah, just bring the last questions. Sup? I don't have kids, but I have tea parties with my nieces and let them put ribbons in my hair. Do you think we've reached a plateau in GPU performance? Nah, there's much more to improve, believe me. Sometimes companies just make that plateau happen because they want to get more money. But yeah. I'm not saying it's easy to overcome that plateau, but it's definitely doable. Fabio, do you believe in Intel bringing a top-end GPU? No, I don't. Especially now that they have that agreement with Nvidia. yeah, I don't see that being a thing. Sadly. Very, very sadly. Oh, and we have another donation from Jeffro7i5. For the new addition to your family, congratulations, my man, kids are the future. Yes, and I tend to create mine in the best possible way that I can. So thank you very much for the donation, you're too kind. I just do hope AMD keeps up with the good drivers with RDNA2. AMD fucked up a little bit. Yeah, they did. And yeah, I believe they will keep with good drivers now, especially since people pressure them a lot. Now, what I talk about all this is that people can pressure brands without doing all this whining little thing. They just can do pressure. They can say, well, I'm not buying any more AMD cards if that's the case. If they don't revert the situation, I'm not buying more, they lost my trust and so on. They don't need to be whining all around the internet and saying, Nvidia is better, AMD is better, it's better, Intel is better. Just stop that. Stop being fanboys. Be a fanboy of your own pockets, okay? If you get the best price performance, if you don't really need the most expensive card, just get what you need and be a fan of your pockets. That's my opinion. That's my advice. Hi Poyo Gamer. Ancient, should I get the AMD 5600X or the 5800X CPU for my RX 6000? Depends, but I would say none. None. If you're going into AM4 and if you want a bit more of the CPU side, if you want to maybe later upgrade and still enjoy decent performance, get the 5700X 3D. And if you can find a really cheap 5500X 3D, get it. Otherwise, 5700X 3D. Never have brand loyalty, definitely. Unless you work for that brand. And even there, I would say it's just business. But yeah, just be a fan of your own pockets, because companies are made to make money. And if companies are made to make money, they will make money and they will want to make money. And they will kind of squeeze you for all the money they can. So don't be a fan of them. Or you can be a fan, just don't be a fanboy. Will you be streaming more often? Actually, streaming takes a bit of time, and I'm not really one of those guys that love streaming. That's not really my thing, honestly. I like to do my videos. I like to, well, be in my peace, just doing my things. You know, streaming isn't really much for me, I would say. I still don't trust AMD because they've branched the drivers. So, what's your question here? They could easily branch the drivers and put it in the same package, and you wouldn't even notice. So if AMD didn't say they would branch the drivers, and they did branch the drivers, you wouldn't even notice, and you would continue to use your GPU normally without being a pain in the ass. That's what I mean when I get annoyed by these comments. Well, I didn't trust them because they branched the drivers. They told you they branched the drivers. They told you. It would in theory at least be worse if they didn't tell anyone, but I mean, what will you lose? What's the actual thing that you lose by them branching the drivers? I mean, whew. No. The branching out is actually a good idea. The branching out the drivers is a good idea. What's a bad idea is that they want to branch out in order to release less of the older drivers. That's a bad and a stupid idea. But branching out the drivers is actually a good idea. Because that way they can keep the newer features for the newer GPUs without messing the stability of the older ones. Since the older GPUs won't really get the newer features, they don't really need to mess up the older GPUs with the newer features for the newer GPUs. So What happened a lot of times in the past was that Nvidia released features for the newer GPUs and the older GPUs got broken because they were in the same branch. So with this, it means that as soon as you get newer features or something else for the newer GPUs, your card will continue to be stable. For example, the 25.10.2 driver, since they branched out, I was having a recording issue. So the recording with the AMD Adrenaline options was kind of bugged. The colors were bugged, over contrast and so on. It was bugged for the older cards. But now it's working fine because they branched out. On the other hand, it is working the same way now for the newer cards. But as soon as they fix the newer cards, it will be fine for both the newer cards and the older cards, because they don't really need to fix it for the older cards because they're branched out. You see what I'm saying? What are the best processors for your 9070 XT? The best processor that you can find. But in most case scenarios, a 9700X would be more than enough, especially with tweaked RAM timings. Hey Fabio, greetings from Colombia. Finally bought a GPU for myself, 9660 XT 16 gigabytes. You've been great for getting in the chat is moving up, so getting it in top-notch condition. Thank you very much for watching my videos as usual. They've been branching out with when AFMF. No, they were preview drivers, not branching out. Fabio, my MF. Hey, Stefan Art. So let's see some more questions before going to sleep. Fabio, what's your favorite game? I have some favorite games. I do. Maybe the latest games that I appreciated the most are Chronos: The New Dawn, because I like games with a good story. Chronos: The New Dawn, Expedition 33, obviously. Let me just see. Black Myth Wukong was also very, very nice. I liked it. Not as much as Expedition 33 or Chronos. Well, maybe a tie-in between Chronos. Then let me see. Sorry, more games. I'm now playing Titan Quest, but I actually am waiting for them to finish the game in order to do a rerun of everything. Red Dead Redemption was also awesome. Definitely. It was a bit kind of a stall. In some case scenarios, so kind of slow in some parts, but overall it was a great experience. The first Berserker Kazan was also very, very good. I also like the Altars. The Altars was very nice. If you didn't play the Altars, just do it. Just do it. The Altars is a very, very nice game, believe me. Oh, now we have another donation, $7.99 SAR. Thank you very much. I don't even know. It could be like 1 cent, but thank you very much for the donation. It really means a lot, really. RJ the Game says, after reading what AMD said, everything makes sense to me. It's often why I've preferred the AMD experience, to be honest. Well, there are some things that Nvidia is better at, even or especially at the same price bracket, but generally AMD has been improving a lot. Yeah. Are you playing Roblox? No, that's from my little cousin. There's no issues in playing Roblox, but I mean, I just find no interesting in it. No interest. No, not interesting. No interest in it. Yeah. I also liked Alan Wake 2, liked it very much. Plague Tale Requiem, Cyberpunk, I also played Dead Island 2 as well. Dying Light the Beast was also nice. I also finished Dying Light the Beast, and it was nice. Kingdom Come Deliverance, I'm yet to finish it. Or maybe I'm yet to start it. And the same thing for The Last of Us Part 2. But again, The Altars was really, really great. I really enjoyed it. Same for Expedition 33 and Chronos: The New Dawn. How's Deadlock? Deadlock is actually decent. I'm not really much into those types of games, but it is actually decent. How old am I? I'm 30. Well, I'm gonna make 32 this year. No, I did make 32. I don't even remember my age correctly. Yeah, 32, yeah. 1993. I did play Oblivion, the original one, and I did play a bit of this one, but since I don't really have much time to play many games, so I kind of choose in between the ones that I like the most, and Oblivion is kind of, yeah, down in the list. I just don't like RPGs that much. Plague Tale Requiem is an awesome game, recommended for anyone, definitely. What's up with Johnny? Shut the fuck up. What the hell is Johnny? What are your thoughts on Reflex 2? I didn't even test it, so I don't really know, but I guess I have to. One thing that I like though, or that I liked a lot when I went to Gamescom last year, the thing that I like the most is the thing that they will be releasing the new G-Sync technology. The new G-Sync technology will be great. Really, really great in terms of image clarity. That will be a very, very good thing. Believe me. Would you please make a guide to use OptiScaler in RDNA4 cards, to use FSR4 in not supported games? Yes, I have lots of those guides. If you go to my channel, it's really, really easy. For example, if you go to this video, I show it very shortly how to do it. If you want to just change the LLs, you have this video as well, how to install AMD FSR4 for older cards, but it also works for the newer cards. It's not an issue actually. Then we have, let's say, we have the other OptiScaler videos. Yeah, this one, for example. This free FSR4 mod just got better. New FSR4 models, new UI. I actually have a newer version of this video. Yeah, here. So OptiScaler just got better. XeSS frame generation, XeLL, and anti-lag 2. Just watch this video. I actually show you how to use OptiScaler, how to install it, and so on. I have everything here, guys. Just go to my video section. I have lots of information here. For example, DDR5 really tested. A NAS that I made a review of. Very, very interesting. An interview with the director of product marketing at AMD. You can watch it here. Now, Shawkan001 says, congrats on the child. Keep doing what you do, my man. We appreciate you. I appreciate you guys as well. Believe me. And well, let's go to the final questions. Really, really final questions. Shoot them. RDNA2 at least can use the mod anyway. Yes, it can. Giant's Grave Gaming says, anyway, gotta wake up in 6 hours to go to work. Ciao, Fabio. Hope to catch you in a stream soon again. Hope you'll be there as well. Thank you very much and have some nice sleep. MythAlexHD says, are you Half-Life fan? Not really. I played the ones in Dreamcast. I played the Half-Life 1 for Dreamcast and the Half-Life 2, I believe, on PC when I was a kid, but it's not one of my favorite games, definitely. Not just my jam. I've got tons of videos of OptiScaler also. Yes, go to the RJ the Game. You have tutorials there as well. So yeah. The 9800X3D, yeah, it's decent for video editing. It has 16 threads, 16 fast threads, so it is decent. But of course, if you want something more, yeah, you need 32 threads. That will help in terms of the timeline, smoothness of the timeline, play, stop, etc., etc. Rendering too, yes, decent. By the way, I'm retesting the CPUs right now. So if you see, I'm retesting now the 7800X3D. And since you guys always complain about testing at 1440p, I said like, fuck it, and I actually did it. Yeah, I actually did it. it won't make any difference, really, because again, the resolution doesn't really matter, you guys. Some of you guys, not you guys, some of you guys are really annoying. The resolution doesn't really matter, but I did test it at 1440p. I'm finishing the 7800X 3D tests, then I'll go to others, and so on, so on, so on. I get headaches with VR. Yes, that's motion sickness. You need to get used to it. And well, guys, I guess that sums it up for today. Thank you very much for watching. Any more questions, just leave them in the comment section. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. Thank you very much for following the channel. If you have any doubts, again, as usual. And yes, I'm not an AMD shill, I'm not an Nvidia shill, and I'm not an Intel shill. I'm a my own pockets shill, and kind of decent shill. I just look at people and I want them to be realistic. I don't really want them to be over emotional. Just use their brains. That's what I ask for. Just use your emotions when you have to use your emotions with your loved ones and so on. Use your brains when you have to use your brains, like with businesses, companies, etc., etc. Thank you very much, and